My name's Andy Warmington. I'm 34, working at Welcome Studios. I'm a barber. Been here for 10 years now in Bristol. It seemed right to kind of kick things off with the place I spend most amount of time here. So yeah, that's where we are. Welcome is a huge part of my life. It's certainly in my career what I'm most proud of, I'd say, from the building to the team to what we represent, the work we're putting out. And to kind of be here 10 years in is, yeah, it's a real kind of dream come true. It kind of wasn't long after the loss of my dad. I was kind of looking for something to kind of pull myself out of this place that I was in. And I'd never really dealt with depression or anything like that before. I didn't really know what it meant. A pair of his old trainers sort of fell out the wardrobe, and yeah, it was weirdly like some sort of sign. Because he never actually got to achieve anything in those trainers. You know, he kind of bought them when he was poorly and just used them to walk around the house. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to achieve something in these? So when I did my first run, started at sort of 5Ks, built it to 10, half marathon, then to a marathon, did a couple of ultra marathons. I did a lot of running in like quite a short space of time, like from lockdown until about 2022, I think it was. That was when I did the 52 half marathons in 52 weeks, which, yeah, kind of felt ridiculous in the beginning. Didn't tell anyone I was going to do it because I thought I'm probably not going to be able to. And then when I got sort of a month into it, I was like, shit, I actually think I can do this. Started documenting it on Instagram. Every time I did one, posted it and numbered everything. That was like my pinnacle of my fitness. I could just go out on my day off and just run a 50K, but it still kind of broke me at the end of it. Because I knew I was kind of like running in my dad's trainers, or I was doing it and thinking about him and like listening to his music and stuff like that. It was like my one-on-one time, like with him. I was always going to do it in them. And yeah, that was like the first time where I felt that real like sense of pride that I'd sort of channeled this pain into something super positive. I enjoyed being out there and pushing myself to the limit where felt like I couldn't take another step. When you and I first started talking about the potential project, that was just in my head. And I think it came from going out and doing those runs that were like super painful, but in the most beautiful way. You know, I was really struggling mentally, but I got such a buzz out of sort of harnessing that pain into something really positive. It was like a sort of a positive self-harm. And yeah, that was the only name that kind of spoke to me. So I feel like, you know, most of us have dealt with some sort of mental health, you know, struggle at some point. A lot of us have dealt with grief, and it's quite funny that we're kind of talking about this in this film, about how I felt back then and what my mental health was like. And actually, I have been more recently started to feel like that again. And I just reached for the one thing that I knew that brought me out of it last time, which was putting my trainers on and going outside and putting one foot in front of the other for extended periods of time. And every single time I came back feeling better than when I went out. And I want to do this challenge and this training leading up to this challenge because I want to start building up that mental resilience again. Like, that was something that I backed myself on. The one thing I always had was like my mind, and like more recently that has like kind of slowly declined. But it is a foolproof plan to make yourself feel better. And I want anybody that's watching this to give it a go. That's what I did, and I wish I kind of found out about it sooner. I say we. I'm the one that's got to run it. I'm gonna take on 100K. It's terrifying. It's massive, but it has to be. You know, the furthest I've run is, you know, it's been around sort of like the 50K mark. I've never attached my dad's memory to any of them. A lot of people don't even know that that's why I run. And if I'm finally going to tell this story, the distance needs to mirror, you know, what my dad was to me. So yeah, at the very minimum, it's got to be that. Yeah, it's 100 or nothing. I reckon I've got it in the tank, and yeah, I'm not giving myself a choice. I'm getting this done. We're raising money for MacMillan Cancer Support. They were sort of one of the first charities on hand to offer financial support, physical support, emotional support to my dad. He was a stubborn old git and didn't necessarily want all of their support because he was too proud. It just amazes me that they do that day in, day out, and have to go into broken families, you know, that have found out the worst news ever, and they can somehow walk in and change your emotions like that. And yeah, I think it's incredible. It just makes sense to do it for them.
Right, let's go for a run.